Alright, we have some decisions to make. We basically need to decide where we're going to right now. And as I mentioned at the end of the last part, I think the Gale Rocks is becoming a sticking point for me. I feel like I'm missing something important in there. It feels like it's gatekeeping me from many things. It's that and the magical item. They're the two things that are causing me the biggest issues right now. So I think I'm going to head back up to Gale Rocks. I have to go to Foggy's Lake again anyway. We can check the Northern Road. I can check the Forest Garden as well, see if we can get any good stuff here. So let's head over there. At some point as well, we're just going to have to accept that we're going to have to go into one of these scary places. But I would really like to get, my combat dust, as I'm going to call it. Otherwise we are in, trouble when the time comes. Sadly, it's not only empty, but the bait is already gone. Whatever it's squeezed into the trap was small enough to catch the worms and swim outside. I'll set the fish trap again. You need to look for worms again, but at least sealing the lid takes only a moment. Right, that's fine. Let's go to Foggy's. Right, I enter the tavern. I approach Foggy. I had a talk with Earson. I cover up for him. She encourages you to smile. And what did he say, love? After your tale, she scratches her knee. So you're saying Asterion is to blame? Fine. Though I'd rather hear about it from the hunters themselves without waiting for them to wake up. Thanks. She pats your shoulder. That's a big help. She hands you the cold pieces of bone. Here are your dragons. The other thing I need to do, by the way, is we need to start getting food rations, right? That's another thing that's gatekeeping right now, so can I buy some food rations? I can't, but I can buy fresh meals. Okay. And you're one of the few people that seems to be pretty willing to tell me about all these things. I think I've asked about the cabin before, right? Yeah, the Trifolk of the Creeks made it, but they should have waited. Yeah, we have seen that before. I feel like I know absolutely nothing about this abandoned place at all, and it's kind of scaring me. It also makes it kind of one of the places I want to explore, because you never know, maybe there's some good loot in there. Abandoned. Alright, see you later, Foggy. I think I have enough things. And then obviously the final thing we need to deal with is that, yeah, it's blinding powder that we want for combat. The final thing we want is to find Glaucie's band, but I think she's in the center of the map, which again requires me to have some, offensive items, so to speak. Right, get me to Gale Rocks. Oh my god. The smoke above the village is as dense as it gets. The locals are taking care of the most tiresome tasks before the return of the fishers. The adults are either outside carrying timber and food or in their workshops, the largest of which are open air. The sounds of work muffle the conversation, so you mostly hear the shouts of overseers. The elders also do their part, helping with cooking and chores, while children either make as much noise as they can or pay attention to their trade lessons. Some of the locals greet you with polite nods by mentioning your trade. I go to... the other reason I wanted to go to Gale Rocks, I just remembered now, is that apparently the key for this abandoned watchtower is here. And I would like to get it. Petronius the Gossip. Something's changed. He seems to be nowhere in sight. And once you find him, his usual confidence is gone. As he leads you away from the others, he stares at the ground and some of his neighbours scowl at you. There's a room that I'm spying for an outsider. An awkward pause. Better get back to your beast, or the smelly name will drop on both of us, it will. I don't care, I'm willing to pay you a dragon bone right away, take it or leave it. He looks at your hand and sighs. Fine, to the orchard we go. What kind of items can I find in the village? Cooper's Salt to Smokers. If you could use a boat, Florence to Fletcher. How do I get on your neighbour's good side? With labour, he says briefly. Though you hear the pain in his voice. They may call for coins, but what they truly want to see is a reliable soul and a strong shell. Right. This It's fine. Why do you eat the coins, by the way? He lowers his arms a bit as if trying to hide them. Why? He clears his throat and straightens up, though it doesn't make him much taller. Why don't you pay first? Sure. Gale Rocks is good to me, but I've got no family left. I get merely as much food as I need, and not the good stuff, like the head workers or the guards. Just fish every day, with greens and gruel. I'd rather buy some dried herbs once the merchants come, and ask the cooks to add some to my meals. You're gathering coins to buy dried herbs? You try to spot a lie in his eyes. You say as if it's any different from drunks paying for mugs of ale, he growls. The right took away my hands, so I'll get my share of what's good in this life any way I can. I bloody will. He looks at one of the apples growing on a nearby tree. A nice smell and togs wouldn't hurt me either. Alright, sure. Now that I've spent 4 gold coins humouring you. Florus was the person you wanted me to ask about. Right. Florus. Florus nods to you and keeps an eye on the arrows he's working on. Wait, I talked with the local coopers and smokers so I could still learn about what this village has to offer. Have I still not spoke to everyone? Cooper, Salter, Smoker. Cooper, Salter, Smoker. Cooper, Salter, Smoker. I'm sure he spoke to the Salters and the Smokers. Salter. The building has many entrances and windows, and each of them lets out so much steam that one could take this place for a city sauna. You address the man that's carrying a basket of firewood. I'm working, he growls. Speak with Albus. The last word is shouted through the open door to another worker. Hearing it, he looks in your direction, puts away a wooden mould, and heads outside, taking a few deep breaths of cold air. Cheers, cheers. Are you by yourself? Who do you represent? He's not older than 30. Matching his name, his skin and hair white, though with a healthy pink hidden in his cheeks, nose and lips, making him look as if he's blushing. When you state vaguely you're from Hovleven, his curiosity's already satisfied. Alright, good to have you back after, 5 years? Our process is the same, and so the lumps look the same. The guild will be satisfied, better keep your head low. I follow him inside. The tour takes a good couple of minutes, and while your guide seems very confident in describing the salt-making process step by step in great detail, he doesn't take into consideration that you may be completely unqualified to have a conversation about the topic. I'm about to enter my salt mode. Can I get the salt for the blinding dust here? I didn't even consider it. You tried to catch the gist of it, though neither the sound of flames and scratching nor the humid air or the smell of sweaty bodies help you focus. The brine is carried here from a cave pond, deep beneath the village, and then boiled in large open pans made of coarse ceramic, heated by stoves. As the water evaporates, it leaves salt behind, and steams a few planks above it, before they get back to the carpenters. The salt is carried onto a drying surface, then lumped into white bricks with the use of wooden moulds. Many things can go wrong, he finishes his tale, but nothing goes to waste. Them shattered lumps get into our fish barrels. All is good. We won't sell you anything of poor quality. I tried to learn a bit about the price. It gives you a few numbers, how many coins, how much flour, or how much iron the locals would take for a single lump. And at first the prices surprise you, but you then take one of the clumps and rub it with your thumb. 1 brick would be more than a household would use in a year. Albus interrupts your thoughts. Questions? You put the salt on a table and glance at the steaming pan again. Even though there are only 3 workers here, you realise the production must consume a mound of firewood every year. I ask him where they get the trees from. He doesn't answer right away, choosing his words carefully. We have supplies, and we trade for them with other villages. Or at least used to. We cut trees as well. Used to do so more back in the day. We had a lumberjack hamlet far away, so beasts didn't get angry. They didn't. Oh, is that the lumberjack hamlet? Is that the abandoned place? I thank you for his time and let him work in peace. So he doesn't go on here, and I couldn't get the salt, it turned out. I'm sure I did the smoker. Observed the workers smoker and sultry, most of them seem all tiny. Yeah, I've spoke to these guys before. Oh my god, that was the last thing. I can't believe it. The smoke thing which said smokers and salters. The salters had a different thing. Okay, you know what? That was worth 4 dragon bones. Just to get that bit of, worry out of my mind. Right, I need to find the key now. And what got updated then? It was the peninsula stuff, right? Okay, so we have a good idea about the trade there. I follow him inside. Oh, you don't trust me for anything. Bathman, you trust me. Roomkeeper? I heard that you used to be quite a traveller. Have you seen anything interesting on the road leading through the heart of the woods? Who's been saying such silly things about me? Hearing your answer, she chuckles. When I was merely a young lass, that road was still wild, barring the wall and the Watchtower. She shares a few memories with you, but often mentions how the roads change with every season, with keepers such as her being more like pathfinders and guides. For a few minutes, her stories get a bit dark, yet are brought up with a warm smile. Trying to memorise her meandering takes you a bit of effort. And every time we reach the tall woods, not the dark ones in the east, but the tall ones in the west, right? She describes vaguely a path leading south to an old orchard. There were so many fruits and nuts and berries and... She sighs. Beasts. So we're picking whatever we could find, but chiefly the hazelnuts, best in the north, and with no worms in them. But stay merely a bit too long, right? And the monsters get to you, from all sides. But without travellers, it must have already overgrown. Such a pity. The conversation goes on for a few more minutes, but you don't expect much of it will be of use of you. I bet the road to the orchard has changed, but maybe I can still find it by accident. Okay, so that's actually useful intel. Luno? Farewell. You suddenly turn around, sure that someone is watching you, but you find no one unusual. Navka. See you later. Rafina. What can you do for me, Rafina? That's right. Sewing kit, gambeson repairs. Who's got the key? God damn you. Tatius. You have a shield, but I can't use it. Gatekeeper. In most settlements, people are much more hospitable. Sure, let's go with that, just trying to progress his story. He gives you an irritated glance and stares into the river. Most settlements have fewer memories of getting robbed by drifters or of wasting their time on good-for-nothing adventurers. All them free souls think they have the right to our patience and care, as if they're some saviours of ours. Each one of them. Well, we've been beating this land for centuries, with right help and the patience of our forebears. And if everyone wants our respect, they'd better work for it. When you notice that getting away with theft must not be an easy task, he answers slowly. Don't get any weird ideas, outsider. It's easy to despair in the hills or at the crossroads. We've got to be vigilant, more than our allies, the stonecutters at Old Pagos. They can let themselves be more open to strangers. They have neighbours, gentler roads, and less of a wall to defend. Alright, that was the last thing the gatekeeper wanted to talk about. Tatius, I don't need armour. Severina won't talk to me. Anyone needs a match still? Oh, tell Paul to Timo's conditions. He responds with a smile, then a warm laughter. And that's all. Of course I agree. As long as she teaches me the pyre dances or whatever it is they do, tell her I'll arrive at the spring floor to meet her. His voice lowers suddenly, cut by pain. Without anyone else, I suppose. He's first to mention the compensation for your service. You're still helping Marina, right? We've already talked to our head woman. She agreed to reward your work once your matchmaking is done. Be sure to meet her then. Can you reward me now? No? Okay, see you later. Fisherman? It's too late to work. How's Phoebe doing? She's the same as she was yesterday and the day before that. He avoids your eyes. Don't ask me any more, outsider. I don't want to think about the time she's going to ask me why she's broken. Alright, see you later. Okay, the only thing I can think of doing now is either going to Gale Rocks. What time am I in the day? 7 hours. I can only think about going to Gale Rocks, the abandoned place. Not Gale Rocks, sorry. The old tunnel, the abandoned place, or the creeks. Because maybe the key's in the old tunnel. Maybe that's why I can't find anything about it in Gale Rocks. But it scares the hell out of me to go there. With no blinding powder, because we know there are monsters in there. I'm just putting it off. And the creeks and back is a little bit dangerous. Oh god. Get me in the old tunnel. Grab my lantern. Oh, I could place a bronze rod somewhere around. You find the perfect spot, a small crack between two massive rocks. Use the rod to broaden it just a bit, then push it halfway in and fill the gaps with a rag. I just lost my hands. Right, what's in the tunnel? You place a candle on the ground and light it with a few sparks from your tinderbox. You shove it inside the lantern through the hole in its top, pressing it onto a nail. You shake it for a bit, making sure it will stay standing. The candle isn't as bright as your torch, but it's safer, will last longer, and can easily be replaced by another one. We're gonna get murdered. The road ahead is like the one you just crossed. A human-carved straight corridor supported with beams, while the other paths are curved and narrow. The only light comes from the exit, minutes away from here. I look around. The remains of prey and fruit are rotting, but get sparser the deeper you enter the tunnel. The moist walls are shining, as if they're made of an ore unknown to human tribes. You observe the dried trails, the ones left by boots lead towards both corridors. The path to your right also has marks left by hooves and wheels. Some of the fresher trails, leading deeper into the tunnel, resemble human soles, but deformed, lacking skin between their toes. We will turn right. The corridor is unlike the others, taller and more rounded, with claw marks on the walls. It leads you to a chamber with a ceiling supported by a single beam. There's also an abandoned cart, the fence of an animal pen, and a few long sticks and planks. You take a glance at the new exit. It leads slightly upward and looks a bit like stairs. I search the room. You find no caches or boxes, and the cart is empty. The one thing that draws your attention are the planks and logs themselves. They're in decent shape, flexible, though too moist to be worth carrying out the cave. They could be turned into a new door or maybe a table. I climb up the stairs. You flinch after the light touches the resting bone, but nothing tries to jump at you, and you hear no shuffling feet. You step forward and take a closer look at the remains of the massive creature. It used to be 2 times as long as your palfrey, 3 if you were to count the hind limbs. It resembles a bear, but its skull has no sharp teeth and is of a different shape. Take a closer look at the skeleton, it's going to bite me. The ribs of the creature are as long as your own trunk, though the age makes them brittle. You observe the long legs, horse-like head, and the massive stomach. You can't tell if you've ever seen such a beast alive, but surely not its trophies. A part that's uniquely sharp are the creature's claws. They could pierce 2 sides of your skull at once, as curved as a war pick and as heavy as an axe. And the marks on the walls perfectly match them. While impressive, they're too old and awkward to be turned into tools. Can I still rip them off, please, just in case this thing is going to come alive? I leave the chamber. I leave the chamber. The area here is stiff. I turn left? No, I move forwards. You forge ahead for another few long minutes, no longer able to see the light from the exit. You need to stand on someone's shoulders to touch the ceiling. So far, you could ride through the tunnel without getting out of the saddle. The sound of a stream is reaching you from ahead. This time there are no side paths. I examine the tunnel. You spend a few minutes walking back and forth. Here the wooden support is denser, with more beams both on the walls and on the ceiling. The trash, on the other hand, is sparse, and you find nothing of use. The animal trails turn back to the entrance, with the exception of the human-like bony prints. Oh, there's skelly bobs in here. I move forwards. The stream has formed a wide pond. You stab it in a few spots, but it turns out to be only a finger or two deep. There's no sign of a bridge. I crouch and take a close look at the water. It's clean, but the dark rocks and lack of light camouflage its soft, sand-like bed. You find a few fish bones and other remains, but with every step you disturb the sediment, further clouding the water. The water flows from your right to your left. Its trail is wide enough to follow, at least for a few steps, and so tall you can do so without crouching. I'm going to fall off a waterfall. Follow the water? A cave-air mushroom has been added to my bag of ingredients. Holy mother of God. Do I know what that's used for? Do I know the recipe? That's my lantern. A cave-air mushroom. Cool. The corridors become less spacious after just a few steps, but you manage to take a good look around, moving both with and against the flow. The wet walls are home to worms, mould, and walls like pale spiders, though with only 6 legs. Please don't be scorpions. Among the commotion you spot a cave sticking out the wall, a familiar though unfriendly mushroom, the creamy colour distorted by your light. You grab your knife and cut away what seems like the least bug-infested chunk, and after wrapping it with a linen sheet, you wash your hands. The caviar is used by some fighters to enhance their senses in combat. Combined with the snakebait flower, it could be a helpful addition to a collection of potions. I head back to the exit, I go to Shadowmane, I move forwards. The open door to your right leads to a narrow corridor. You take a look further down the tunnel. A cave-in broke the timber blocking the path forwards. Take a close look at the cave-in. You push away a few rocks, making them roll on the floor, but the blockade is at least a few steps deep. It would take an entire team of diggers to get through, if it's possible at all. You climb up a bit and peek through a larger hole close to the ceiling. There's a weak light coming from the distant end of the tunnel. I step away. Right, so the digger boy could dig through here. I guess we look at the door. It squeaks. The corridor resembles the interiors of a fortress, with flat, regular walls, and a ceiling so low you couldn't ride through it. You reach another, much larger chamber, which seems to mimic the corridor style. I enter. The spoiled food and mouldy planks make you hold your breath. The chamber used to serve as a dining spot, with tables, chairs, shelves and mugs, and barrels of drinks, but all that's left are worms and mustiness. You don't see the furthest wall until you bring your light closer. The open door leads to a new, natural cavern. Another closed door is in the corner of the room, opposite the one we came from. I search the chamber. The place was abandoned in haste, but you find no signs of large creatures, bones, or destruction. The wood gives way only to time. A few of the barrels still contain liquids, though you wouldn't dare open them. Close to the exit leading to a cave, you find a hook with a simple iron key. You pick it up and it stains your hand with rust. This might be for the Watchtower. I try to open the door in the corner. The door gives way. The next room is also too large for your light to reach the corners at once. The empty shelves, chests, and spear racks give you no promise of a hidden treasure, but you also find a box with rusty nails, a cracked barrel in the corner, and a broken blade. You could spend some time collecting these and other iron scraps, then sell them in the village. In the room's corner, you notice a wide sheet of mouldy fabric that covers a large part of the wall. I examine the curtain first. It's divided in the centre, allowing you to draw it. Behind it, you find a tiny room, maybe 2 steps wide and 3 steps deep. It's silent, not as humid. The wall's head isn't like the others, it's covered with red and purple bricks. I search for anything unusual. The walls to your left and right bear a few iron hooks that could be used to hang cloaks, paintings, or trophies. The corners aren't too dusty and there are no footprints on the floor. You inspect the brick wall further. In its centre, at chest height, you spot a distinctive engraving. It's a winged hourglass about a finger long. I touch the shape with the pendant I own. It's a match. You fit it in the grooves, then press. The brick moves deeper inside and bounces back, allowing you to draw it out completely. In the secret compartment, you find a key made of bronze. It's as large as your forearm. I leave the room. I find the metal scraps. Having no useful tools at hand, you struggle to dismantle the barrel and cut away all the bits of wood that are attached to the pieces of iron and steel. After a long while, you prepare a decent, clanging sack. For now, you move it to the dining chamber and leave it by the exit. I leave the room. I don't want to walk through the ajar door, but here we are. The cave is so moist that the diggers place planks on the ground, serving as now useless bridge through the puddles. The rocks shaped like icicles ominously hang from the ceilings, in some spots merging with their on-the-floor counterparts and forming hourglass-like columns. I search the chamber. You leave the rotten planks and explore the cavern carefully, making the light dance on the droplets and puddles, but you find nothing of use or value. I try to open the door. The door opens quietly, and you return to the main tunnel. You could turn south again and see if there's anything you missed, but after you blink a few times, you realise there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Far ahead, it's weak and flickers like a torch. I hide my own light. You simply put it on the ground in the entrance to the cavern with the stalactites. You'll pick it up if you need to. Okay, I hate what I've done now. Oh my god. It's going to be a fucking Skelly Bob carrying a torch, right? But I don't want to walk in it with, complete darkness. If I go south, I'm going to be trapped. But I have to clear this place out, right? And blindness dust isn't going to help me against the Skelly Bob. I'll walk close to their light. You put away your light and sneak forward. You pay attention to the sounds of movement, but there's no crackling of a campfire, no wandering or chatter. You see a shape of a gate far in the distance. I try to get close enough to see who's responsible for the light. You stumble over the cord that's stretched right above the ground, starting the clatter of pieces of wood and bones that are hanging from it. The light at the end of the tunnel draws near, followed by a few human-like figures. I take a few steps back and try to see who I'm dealing with. The creatures don't shout or wail, and neither make threatening gestures nor cast angry glances. You hear only the rattle of their bones as they hit against the rocky floor. The empty eye sockets of the naked skulls reveal nothing. The four skeletons wear a few rags, and two of them still have scraps of flesh on their limbs. Their weapons are unconvincing, simple digging tools, and spears tipped with rocks, but you notice the speed and confidence of their movement. The one in the back is holding a wooden lantern, while another one is carrying a fresh torch, but the group isn't paying much attention to their steps. I run towards the door behind me. You run with confidence, making sure you have your equipment in your hand. I was hoping they would trip over the rope on the ground. I think we should fight them. I know I'm a lover, not a fighter. Or do I just keep backing off? Actually, let's keep backing off. The water splatters beneath your boots. I run to the dining chamber. You give the door behind you another look. There's no way to lock it. I leave the chamber. You lead the undead to the short corridor. The door has no lock. You can't keep them away, but they have to enter one at a time. I strike the closest one, then move back. You manage to land a fierce attack, but you only break one of the arm bones. The creature strikes you back with a crude sledgehammer. Limited by the size of the corridor, you fail your block. While the undead leans away for a few moments, it doesn't take long for it to straighten up again. Okay, I keep running. You get through the door and look around. Only one path left. We go to the stream. Water splatters under your boots. I run up the tunnel. You keep running, gasping for air. I head back to the crossroads. You don't have much time. You can either leave the tunnel or enter a side corridor. If the choice is the latter, you won't have an option to turn back. I flee. You run through the last straight corridor. Midway through, the skeleton's rattle recedes. They let you be even before you reach Shadowmane. Hungry and sweaty, you look back. The light stops a few minutes away from here, somewhere close to the crossroads. You won't have a chance to sneak by them. I need to face the undead. Okay. You look into the tunnel. The weak light invites you with its flicker. The four undead would be a life-threatening enemy even for an experienced fighter. I better prepare myself first. Oh. I can leave. Perfect. Foggy, I need to come back, please, and lick my wounds. I enter the tavern. So what is this using? It was sharpening. Yeah. So I need snake bait flour. And for this, I still need the salt and a cursed soil. Which apparently I know where the cursed soil is, but I don't know where it is. And maybe another time. Do I not still have a healing potion? Or have I spent this? I spent it, right? Okay. What did you want for this, sorry? 2 dragon bones. Okay, I'll use the first recipe. And I'll make a healing potion. I clean up everything and step away from the table. And then we approach Foggy. Foggy, what have you got to... Oh, you've got meals, I forgot. She doesn't want anything I have. She doesn't trust me. Time for me to go. Right, let's sleep here. And... I think I would like the health. Thank you. So I'll rent the room. You notice it while you undress. One of your recent wounds is going to leave a mark. I first noticed it by touch, then see it in the reflection of my blade, a long cut on my cheek. The deep cut in my hand still hurts, especially when I make a fist. I managed to ignore it, but the cut on my leg hurts with every step. The bruise in my stomach looked like the night sky, and why would I care? It happens to all travellers. Give enough time, let's just keep it clean. You know what? I'm going to go with the last one, because all the other ones kind of scare me. I feel like this will make my appearance lower. This one is going to make my attacking worse, and it's already pretty bad. This one's going to make me slower, and I don't know about the stomach one. Maybe it's going to take a food off me. Just keep it clean. Get it together, Andalono. Alright. Let me go outside, please. The foragers, we have nothing to talk about. Let me go back to the creeks, because I do have some metals they may be interested in. I return to Shoshi. He's preparing for work, but he's ready to give you a few moments. I tell about Marina from Gale Rocks. Well, well, you found quite the someone, friend. And I've heard a lot of good things about her home. But this right talk makes me worried. Are you sure she'd be ready to keep our bonds loose? Seeing your shrug, she sighs. Tell her about me. Don't hide my plans, just speak of me kindly, she laughs. If she wants to have fun with me, I'll make her life warmer, and I love kids. For the first time, her smile becomes humble and kind instead of playful. I will recall Marina's message. She's not interested in an open relationship. Then I guess it's not meant to be. She shakes her head with disappointment. I'm glad you opened this chance for me, friend, but there are parts of me I'm not willing to change. Still, I'll make sure the tribe hears about your help. She suddenly raises her axe and shouts, Hey you! She addresses no one in particular, but a powerful voice makes everyone stop. Andalone would do me a big favour, aye? Be nice. A few people smile or scoff, and life goes on. And if you want to bring Marina my answer, she rests her chin on the top of the blade. Tell her to think it over, for I can make every day of yours sweet and light. if you're ready to breathe fully. Alright, see you later. Fish trap roast chicken. What do you think about Ella? He repeats your question, making sure he heard you correctly, then scratches the wolf's head. I respect him. He took good care of me as an older brother. He's boring, you know that, and hides a lot behind those smiles of his. He spends days in the workshop thinking we may be both as weak as we are now and smart enough to prosper. There's work to be done. He mimics the carpenter's cadence. Aye, there always is. You want to ask about the weakness, but he gives you no time to speak. There's almost no folks from the older generations left. Did you notice? Foggy and old Harv are the only two still capable of doing work, but they aren't getting any younger and are already wounded. You think about the tavern keeper's lost arm. We were always lacking in numbers, blades, tools and skills. The beasts took many souls, but Ella won't talk about it. He'd rather forget them and tie this place to the other villages, making us merchants and rotten carpenters. He adjusts his cloak, boiling from frustration, then risk the lives of younger tribesfolk in training and hunting. We've suffered so much, yet we're becoming even weaker. He calms himself down with silence. It's been many days since your friends left the village, Ephron. They aren't coming back, or I'll tell you if I find anything. No, I will try and find something. Have a good day hunting. Ella? About the Eastern Path. Right, never mind. See you later. Can I wash in the creek? Nope, see you later. Right, let's get back to Gale Rocks, because we actually have something to talk about for a change. The digger. I haven't opened up the tunnel. Right, he won't talk to me still. Where is the young match, people? Shoshi's message to Marina. Her blushing cheeks contrast with the pale skin of her hands. I can't, she says after a longer moment. I thought about our previous conversation, Roadwarden. I'm not ready for such changes, not just because my son deserves the peace we have now. I'd rather join a monastery than put pleasure above prayer. You've already matched Paulus, I've heard, she says, without hiding her jealousy. Go and speak with our head woman. She'll reward your help. Right. Paulus and Marina have already talked to you. Right. You worked for us. Now I can tell one of my neighbours to overlook the usual fees or duties they'd ask of you. Do you need anyone's help? Free food to fill my belly. A free room to spend the night. 5 free repairs to my gambeson. I may need a boat one day I could use a discount, or I don't need any favours, just make sure everyone learns that I'm useful. Ha! The 5 free repairs to my gambeson is slightly tempting, but you know what? I don't need favours, just make sure everyone learns that I'm useful. You won't buy fish merely with fame, she starts slowly, but then nods. I'll mention it soon to the council of our elders and head workers. Thank you very much. Can I borrow the key to the Watchtower? She nods. I've heard good things about you. I have. So I'll trust you with a spare one. But don't expect me to give you another one if you lose it. She asks her granddaughter to fetch it, and after a minute or so, the cold iron object, not much larger than your finger, is placed in your hand. Thanks a lot. My patience runs short, outsider. Severina gestures for you to pause. Are you sure the other matters can't wait till tomorrow? Fine, farewell. Right. People trust me now. Petronius? I've heard something about your neighbours getting robbed by strangers. Okay. Digger Boy doesn't help me. Bathman doesn't need me. Rafina. What can you do for me, Rafina? Ah, this is it. Gamson repair 6. Oh, that's the repair set, sorry. Oh my god, I only have 1 dragon bone. The fishers have already gone out to do their business. Okay, I think for now then, we're fine as we are. I need to sort out... Actually, hang on a minute. I'm not fine as I am. Can I sell something to people here? I forgot. Boatmaker. Merchant. Okay. I thought you could sell stuff here. I thought they wanted iron. Maybe they don't trust me to, buy my wares. Pathman, will you? No. I can only buy stuff. Oh, and I could speak to the undead. The guard you met when you first arrived at the village is leaning against the wall, observing both the gates and your mount. Whenever Shadowmane snorts, the gatekeeper reaches for his axe. As you get closer, he nods to you. I encountered undead in the tunnel south from here. Right. They almost got my wife, they did, when she tried to check out the locked passageway. We stay away from there, but talk to our digger. She's there, with her toys. He steps away from the wall and looks at the nearest table, where an elderly woman is putting together a humble structure from wooden building blocks. I've already spoke to Luno or Eno, the builder. They won't do anything. They want me to free it up. I just wanted some muscle. Can I call in some favors? God damn you. Okay, the only other thing I can think of doing now is going all the way around the map again to get some dragon bones from the secluded residence and open the Watchtower and then go all the way back the other way around. That's literally all I can do right now. Everything else puts me at risk, and then along the way we try and repair a gambeson. I caught a fish. Wonderful. I set the fish trap again. This fish trap is honestly low-key the carry right now. Do we have any vegetation here? Nope. Anything at the crossroads? Just while I'm here? A terrible roaring is coming from the east. You can't even guess what sort of creature would be capable of making such a noise. Alright. See you later. I'm not going to that gate thing now. I return to Timo the Watchwoman. She's at the creek but takes a break to speak with you, apologising for her crude appearance. She gasps for air with her hands on her knees but looks you directly in the eyes. I have an answer from Paulus. She shouts and jumps toward you, throwing her arms around your neck. And I had such an awful day! Thank you! With tears in her eyes. She steps away, though your clothes and cheek are already covered with droplets of water. Of course, knifing is said for sure. Her calm words are betrayed by her excited tone. I'll ask my uncle Akakios to be so rabid when he swaps dragon bones with you. Nice discount. After another few minutes of her insisting that you have to come to the wedding if it occurs, but nothing for sure. But you must promise, but who knows. But you must be there. You leave her with her friends. See you later. Right, main square. Akakios. I have goods to sell. You can have these iron scraps. 8 rings. The greatest deal in the history of deals. I still can't buy this battle axe, which I would like to do at some point. I've got another fish to sell, by the way. Take one, enjoy. I got a food ration for it. Actually, I keep them in the stall. Oh my god, he never asked this guy to buy off him? Holy shit. Smoked mutton, a sack of dried fruits, nuts, biscuits. We eat fresh air and pay with work. Coins ain't worth much. When he thinks, his lips move as well. Let's say 1 ring for enough food to fill you for 2 days. In Hovelton, that kind of price would buy you 3, even 4 times as much food. If you're in a mood for spending, I also have something special. Just give me a minute. He goes upstairs and returns with a small wooden box and a hand-long leather sheath. 'Tis a teeth set. You're afraid of what he's going to show you, but when he opens the box, you realise he meant teeth cleaning. See, he points at 3 different compartments. Salt, cloves, and mint. Is this salt I can use for a recipe, by the way? You mix whatever you want here. The 4th holds only a small pestle made of polished stone. And here are the twigs you need. They'll last for months. Seeing you're not convinced, he takes a deep breath. Well, we do not let outsiders bathe in our creek, but give me 2 dragons and I'll ask my kids to get you in shape. You'll get a tub with soap and rose oil, and they'll wash your clothes in water. I'll cook you something nice, as much as you can eat. Show me the rations first. 2 filling meals. Okay. You have to spend money to make money. Give me the toothbrush. Ah, someone who dreams of a healthier smile. He rubs his hands. But before you take it, he puts the box in front of you. I've got the hazelnut twigs in the sheath, but can replace them in no time. What taste are you looking for? Oh, do I want walnut, apple, oak, willow, or hazelnut? It's fine. Honestly, I would love apple flavour, please. That sounds delightful. He disappears for a few minutes and returns with a couple of twigs, which he puts into the sheath. What else do you need? I need a few rations, by the way. Oh, you can mass buy the rations? Okay. She wanted 13, right? Thanks. Okay. Let me just check this is actually right before I fuck up. Where's the quests? Journal. Quests. Udicea. Why did she want 13 things anyway? I'm sure she asked me for 13. Healing the plague. Why did she want food? Oh, it was to make the path safer, right? Wait, so this will be under the... Oh, for God's sake. This will be under the East Coast thing, right? Ella? Alright, I'll just go from memory. I can't find it. Where are you on your time? 3 hours. Can I get back to here? I can get to the pelt. Sure, that'll do for me. Enter the inn. Speak to... Oh, Spectacles Quintus, he's here now. He greets you by raising an empty mug. I take another look in the main hall. Alright. Talk to the innkeeper. Any leftovers? Not today, maybe tomorrow. Do you have anything you'd like to buy? Oh, he wants a fresh healing potion. Forget it for now. Alright, sleep. He will give me food, he will sort out my appearance. This is my last dragon bone. I am hungry. The shivers wake you up. You hear the hunters leaving the building. You look through the window, but the fog is so dense, you hardly see the wall around you. Still, they are being patrolled by the night shift, which places torches and carries lanterns. While I'm looking for a candle, I think of the many times I've heard parents telling their naughty kids that the fogs will take them. Okay, we have to be out quickly. Any leftovers, by the way? Holy moly, yep, we're lucky. He was going to give it to the boar. And it was another nettle tisane and simple root stew. Delicious. Just what I wanted. Let me go to secluded residence. Before my food rations spoil. There are a few loud ducks on the shore, though they flee after you reach the gargoyle. You touch the cold shell, the monster's eye grow red. Go inside, I'll be with you soon. Alright. Let's talk about clearing the roads. 12 food rations. Fine. Where should I put all of this? She makes a vague gesture toward the nearest stool. I'll give a Gollum new orders before I go to sleep. Brilliant. I want to collect my reward for rods. Gives me 6 more dragon bones. How many more do I have, by the way? 2 more. What does she have again? Oh, she sells another spirit rock. And she has this sapling which tells me if Earth is cursed or not, but I don't exactly know where I need to place that. Maybe I should just grab it and just run around all the places again and see if I can find it. Alright, I'm going to do it again. I think it will go off eventually. Out of interest, could I spend the night here? Even though she drawls out her words with frustration, she speaks with ease as if she's reciting a memorized speech. I know how harsh the woods can be, but I don't offer shelter to travellers. I don't want to look behind my own shoulder for hours, or use my golems to protect you. Travel north or south, look for a tavern or an inn. You'll find a safe hearth there. She blinks and crosses her arms. And we're both adults. Don't tell me I could bind you with a rope or take away your blades. The less I have to touch you, the better. Oi! Alright, see you later. Take me to the abandoned watchtower. I think I can get in now. It's a good spot for the bronze rods, but I have to somehow get to the roof first. I approach the entrance. I use the key from Old Pagos. It goes in smoothly, and after a bit of fidgeting, you find the right spot. You hear the heavy mechanism giving in to your will, followed by the creaking of rusty hinges. An empty table stands in the middle of a large, round room filled with dusty furniture. Without the open door, you'd struggle to see anything. I wait to make sure there's nothing trying to jump on me. The first thing you notice is that the room isn't high, and just like the window suggested, there's the second floor above it. The scent sparked an image of a cellar, humid but without much mustiness. Tree stumps used as stools, surrounded by a round table in the centre, now covered in dust. The shelves are empty with no tools left behind, and you see a couple of dishes laying in various spots, empty, sticky. The bugs are crawling both on the furniture and near the walls. Spiders, roaches, worms. You think about taking a look into one of your casks, but the smell coming from it makes you change your plans. Instead, you climb up the ladder. The view there isn't much different. The floor is covered with pieces of trash, dirty furniture, and sleeping pallets, which are moist, smelly, and full of wriggling, chirping creatures. I don't care about some bugs, I just need to ignore them. You climb down, Shadowmane is looking at the grass outside, still touched by the sunlight. You approach the windows, each one locked with two heavy wooden bars. Opening them would not be a problem, but knocking them down from the outside won't be an easy task. You sigh with relief. This is a safe place. Following the clue from Old Pagos, I look for anything that Asterion could have left behind. Did they give me a clue about this? Oh, let me put a bronze rod on the roof first. Right, we could go and get some more money, but we'll wait later for that. You climb up the ladder and push the trapdoor with one hand. The planks are thick, and as they fall down under their own weight, they make a loud thud. You find a crack between two of the bricks and use the rod to widen it a bit. We've seen this before. You put it in the gap, put some cloth in it, and it won't detach. You wonder though if it's going to lure any lightning. Yeah, I was wondering this. Right, following the clue from Old Pagos, look for anything that Asterion could have left behind. You start to move around all sorts of furniture, light and heavy among various pieces of garbage that you have to push aside. You find something unusual in the space between one of the pallets and the wall, an old moulding wax tablet. There are some writings inside of it. Other than that, the place seems to be empty, unless you count the broken pottery and ragged clothes. I open it and take a closer look. As far as you can tell, the tablet is filled with small pictures and chaotic notes, focused on the construction of boats and oars, as well as the nature of volcanoes. One word seems to be a name, the Navica. For now, I hide it in my bag and put everything back in its place. Time to wash my hands. You're at the ground floor of the watchtower. Dozens of little creatures run away from the new source of light. God damn it! I could repair the herbal bug repellent. Right, take a look at the signpost while I'm here. Okay, I'm not interested in this. Let me go to the dolmen. Was the cursed earth here, or is it the fallen tree? I'm going to stop at every single place right now. Any cursed earth here? Nope. And I'm not washing myself in the river. Dolmen, any cursed earth in the dolmen? There's nothing else for me to do here. The crossroad, any cursed earth? Oh. You follow the overgrown trail behind the dolmen and the southern crossroads, but it got even more difficult than a few days back. You look at the fallen branches and a few trampled shrubs that are blocking the road. The large paw, a few blood trails, and scraps of fur tell a story of a long clash between dangerous beasts. From now on, riding through this spot is going to take you even more time. Before I ride away, I spend an hour or so clearing the path. No, for now we ignore it. I'm not in a position to risk getting jumped on by one of these beasts. Oh! A flock of rooks and crows flees the crossroads. The bushes are rustling, the carcass is fresh, and there are boot prints. You take a quick look around. Julia's work. The wolf, lured by the scent of blood, ran through the shrubs, breaking a few twigs, but the few stabs it received were deadly precise, reaching the organs. Bronze rod me. Oh, I could really use the grappling hook. Oh my god, I have to do this. You turn the shadow into the signpost so it can graze for a bit. The rock face is smooth and tall, uninviting. You don't have a proper tools to support you, and you don't see any good spots where you could rest your hands while climbing. All I can do is going to try. It's not like I'm going to die from the fall. You place a boot on a small ledge, or rather in one of the holes, then stretch out your leg towards another spot that could handle your weight. Your hand finds no rocks to grab, so all you can do is cling to the cold, moist wall. After the second attempt, you manage to get a bit higher, but once you straighten up, the foot support crumbles, and you slide down. At least your hands are unscratched. You look at the escarpment again. You see no other spot to climb it. Maybe we'll come back another time with a better tool. And also I'm going to forage for edible plants. Wild plants, delicious. Not trusting your surroundings, you have to take Shadowmane with you, repeatedly tethering and releasing it as you make progress. With the help of your axe and long stick, you push aside the barricade of leaves and thorns and prod the ripe plums and sour apples, then catch them into a spread bag. You could use an extra pair of hands. The berries are much easier to collect, though most of them are poisonous, so you leave them for the birds. Great, I'm just going to poison all the local wildlife. No wonder the fucking animals are cross with us. After digging out the wild cabbage and carrots and cutting away their inedible parts, you take a few minutes to wash everything in cold water from the supplies. I make sure the fruit won't squish along amongst my bundles. Right, I need a grappling hook to do anything here. Honestly, I would probably try and, carve up this wolf as well. I don't know what the going rate of wolf meat is, but I imagine we'll get something for it. Okay, I want to speak to the armourer. I'm in need of your services. Repair my gambeson, please. Just in case I get jumped. We don't need the well right now. And how long left? Sorry? 3 hours. I don't need to stop at the Beholder, so I'm going to go all the way back to Howler's Dell. Actually... Okay, we gossip for a bit. How long? Sorry, 1 hour. Can I get here and back? Into the village. In theory, yes. Is this where the cursed earth is? Where's that sapling? I approach the altar. I offer a magical item. Oh, one of my healing potions will do it. Oh, I don't want to use a healing potion, though. I walk away for now. Take a closer look at the roots. I do something with it. Absolutely not. Travel. Get me back to Howler's Dell. We'll sleep here. Okay, rent would give me a heart, a food, and even more prettiness. I think I'm going to sleep rough though on the Mouflon pelt this time. I don't really have the cash to splash right now. You think about the sparse clues you found about Asterian's whereabouts. If it's true he was looking for something beyond the peninsula, maybe using a boat, the old tax codices you looked through the years ago, could provide you with a hint. There's only one large piece of land close to the coast, High Island, a massive green territory surrounding a volcano, with its surface spread high above the ocean surface. It's a wild, forsaken place that used to belong to the tribe of the Green Mountain, but ever since the army of Hovlivin failed at conquesting it over 2 centuries ago, ships have been staying away from it. The rumours of the treasures hidden in the caves around the volcano were numerous, but not more reliable than the regular sailor tales. Come to think of it, Even though you remember both official documents and vague scribbles focus on this potential source of wood, fish, and ore, you've seen not a word dedicated to the tribe, and neither to the description of its homeland. Someone must know more about that place. Ah, so you may have sailed away. Sail away, sail away. He leaves the square. The Forbidden Island. You found enough clues to believe that Asterion has travelled to the High Islands, northwest of the peninsula, and hasn't been seen ever since. So far, you know almost nothing about this place. I need to ask the locals about it. I could use some work. She sighs with relief and gestures for you to follow her to the creek. The light dances on its surface, and you can't miss the fact that its humming conveniently camouflages the mare's voice. I have a perfect task for someone of your trade. Behind our northern gate, you'll find a road. It leads to a coastal beach that used to be occupied by our fishers. Hit by a cold gust of wind, she adjusts her cape, covering her neck. That hamlet allowed us to watch the sea, and every 10 days we had as many fish and crabs as we desired, without the grace of the village of the north. She looks into your eyes. However, an earthquake led to a rock slide, and it's made the road impassable. We weren't ready to clear it, and now almost a decade later, the route is too unknown for us to risk long journeys. She raises her arm, trying to place it around your shoulders. I'll allow her. Her gentle hand is as light as a leaf. The druids have convinced my people to accept the way it is, the will of the wilderness. She smells of roses. But enough time has passed, the roads grow desolate, and we need to put our trust in ourselves. Help me clear the pass, and my neighbours will follow us. If not because of their ideals, then because of their stomachs. As she steps away, her fingers stroke your neck gently. The more time we spend on the road, the more monsters will hunt us. With your palfrey, you can save us from danger. Help me retrieve the hamlet, and you'll prove to me that you're a friend of Howler's Dell. Start by riding to the buried pass and see if there are any lairs that would need our interference. You're asking a lot for a scrap of parchment. Oh, but there will be coin, of course, laughing. She returns to her chair. 5 for helping us clear the path, 5 for letting me know what you learned about the hamlet, and another 3 if you have to fight in any of those places. For a day or 2 of work, that's more than fair. I've already been to the Collapsed Mountain Pass. She rests her chin on the back of her hand and listens patiently to your story, and taps on the table once you mention the buried rags. None of us were there on the day of the earthquake, and whatever corpses may be there, they've surely been awoken by the fogs now. She straightens up. It's still better than a wyvern or a lair of harpies. The plan stays the same. You'll get 20 diggers and guards and escort them to the rock slide. Your job is to keep them alive and well. She looks at the sky. It may take many hours, maybe even an entire day, so you should start in the morning. You'll get the first share of your payment once you clear the pass. I'm going to take care of it soon, not now. Thanks for your time. Okay, that's actually really nice, because that gives me something, actually tangible to do. Are there any old-time sailors around Eric's? I'd like to ask a few of them questions. All our sailors are old-time sailors. Nice soul here, haven't seen a ship in years. He starts with a chuckle, but then nods towards an elderly man who's resting by a table, rolling an empty mug and mumbling to himself. Try with him. Thanks. I approach the old sailor. He doesn't notice your approach until you sit down opposite him. He raises his chin. One of his eyes is brown, while the other is white from blindness. Having only one ear, a broken nose, and a constantly open mouth, he looks like a soul at the end of a painful journey, but his voice is more amused than tired. Ah, now you fell here, on my own very plate. You're the kind of... He pauses, leaning a bit forward. No, I haven't seen you before. You come to buy me a strong mug? You did a few breaths to get through his thick accent, additionally distorted by his lack of teeth. You mean ale? Sure, I'll pay the innkeeper to serve you. You glance at Erickson while he fills up a mug. You reach for your pouch. 1 dragon should be enough for a few rounds. A kind traveller. Hard to find such tall since the wartime. Yeah. You find it difficult to tell if you see a smile or a grimace of pain. It used to be a sign of decency to help each other,
both on the land and at sea.
With a gasp, he tries to straighten up and reach for his new drink. Can you tell me anything about High Island? He wipes his drooling mouth with his sleeve. His clothes are simple but clean and tidy.
Do ye nay know? 'Tis ne allowed to land there. A dangerous place and a hurtful memory.
Why hurtful?
Long before any of us were born, 'twas a home to an old tribe. One who lived close to the land and spirits, but was chased and trapped like a hunted boar. Even though no fault of their own. They were strong, but alone. Couldn't he stop the emperors and their brigands?
He tilts his head and narrows his living eye.
You know what? You sound like a city folk.
I alter my accent slightly. I'm a traveller, I've got no home. I'm from Hovleven, but through no fault of my own.
What a decent heart you have.
His weak wheeze carries a hint of amusement.
After all these days I spent meeting souls from the farthest of the land, I'm ne one to judge one for where they come from. Different thing if you were tied to that place. That den of greed.
He takes a sip and helps himself close his mouth with his lip of the mug. I just need to know how to reach the island.
You really have nae better things to do? Nae lovers to bed with? Nae bread to smell? Nae mead to drink?
He puts his arm on the table and then his cheek on top of it. His voice is getting tired, so you lean forward to hear him.
Start with this. Reach the island after dusk from the east. Ye will nie miss it. The volcano has been smoking for decades now, and many say it hides treasures of the old tribes. The island's walls are so tall ye can nie climb them, but with the night's high tide you'll reach an old port, hidden behind a waterfall. Do all this, he pauses and wipes his wrinkled lips, or just pay for a ship in the city. They're tall as fortresses, that's what you need.
Have you ever landed on the island? He raises his head just enough to take another sip of ale.
I can nie recall much. We were desperate, hungry and hurt, and did what we could to survive. That night was a nightmare, and I only ever woke up.
He lowers his head again and closes his eyes. The dead one remains half open. I stand up. Okay, that's actually incredible intel. Gathering a crew. According to what you've learned, you can only reach High Island by boat, leaving the coast during the day and landing at nighttime during high tide. A chance that you're going to find him there on your own is slim. I need a boat and maybe a few friends and mercenaries. Brilliant. Truly brilliant. Right, I'm travelling. Here, crossroad me. You reach present smell of moist soil and constant cacophony of insects. What about the gate? Is there anything at the gate right now? I'm not entering the woods. See you later. Old Pagos is not the cursed land. I refuse to believe it. Where am I going, by the way? What am I doing? What's happened? Oh, I wanted to go all the way back to the creeks. Because I've done some good stuff. I remember now. Honestly, an hour to get to the Old Pagos. Let me see if there's any cursed soil here. Okay, this is not helpful right now. I'm a little bit worried that they're all going to die in here if I don't sort it out soon. Right, there's nothing I can do here. How about Old Forest Garden? Are you cursed earth? How about the creepers? Are you cursed? No, let's check the peat fields. Are you cursed earth? Apparently not. Open the path to the White Marshes, please. Have the fruits and stuff. I don't need them. Let me go to the creepers. Let me check if this is the cursed earth. Right, nothing is stopping me from riding ahead. How about the White Marshes? Is this where the plant can grow? I have some supplies I don't need. Ah. 8 bunches for 1. Holy moly. Helvius. Oh, I could use your tribe's assistance. I tell him about the undead roaming in the autumnal in the north. He scratches the back of his head. Who do we think we are? We don't carry traditions of dark spellcasters. We do what we must to survive. And on our own. What are you asking me about? I expect you can always use more shells around here. He bursts into laughter, luring the eyes of the other villagers. Very true, but you speak for hard magic. I can't promise anyone here knows it other than Orentius. You look him in the eyes and mention the things you've already done for the village. With a grunt, he grabs his axe with both hands, pretending to make a swipe. So you want me to return the favour? Not for free, stranger. Your kindness wasn't asked for. I owe you not a thing. I'll think about the price in bones. Speak me once you have enough savings. Talk about a price. 15 dragon bones. Let me think about it. Right, I will get 15 dragon bones, but apparently this isn't where the cursed earth is either. Right, let me go to the forest garden then. Any cursed earth? Nope. Let me go to the abandoned place. Any cursed ground here? Absolutely not. I'm not going in. The northern road, any cursed earth here? Any fish? Nope, still empty. See you later. Foggy? Any cursed earth? I'm looking for a few souls willing to explore High Island with me. Stupid what? Ellen burst into laughter. There are easier ways to seek death, and dragons aren't worth that shit. Svi, however, gives you a long look. Why? You mentioned briefly your search for Asterion. Sounds like a waste of effort. He adjusts his cloak. But I'll do it for fair pay. I'm good with knives, sneaking by, and making small things out of wood. Right. The tall forager straightens up and looks at his companion in the eyes, demanding explanation, but the man in black fur waves it off. I'm bored of the inn, and I'd hate to spend another winter in creeks. His voice carries a hint of an apology. Aye, we need no dragons here, but I'd take them south, behind hags. The distance between them grows with every breath. What's your price? You did well during a hunt, so I assume you know what you're doing. 13 dragons. Maybe a bit less in the future. If I see you're useful for other tribesfolk and can handle yourself, I'm good at sneaking. Okay, yeah, you're better at stabbing things. You move well, climb and crawl. Brilliant. I'll let you know in the future. Foggy, would you be willing to help me? Alright. See you later, Foggy. I don't think you would be willing to help me at all. So how long have we got left, sorry? 3 hours. Let me head up to the creeks then. Ella? About the Eastern Path. I made a deal with Eudocia. Her sentinels are going to look after the roads that surround the Watchtower. The description of the golems makes him tighten his shoulder cloak. When he grabs the casket, he holds it tightly. And you're sure they aren't going to attack anyone. Seeing your unconvinced smile, he counts down 3 bones without looking at them, lost in his thoughts. One day he'll be grateful for what I've done. Oh. He doesn't even want to know that I've opened the shelter for him? You scumbag. I want you to discuss the issue of the Enchantress rod with the village. You should know by now I can be trusted. He takes the rods, there's no need. I already know what they'll say. My tribe calls you a fair soul. We'll put it at the Watchtower. There aren't that many birds that would steal something of this size. Brilliant. How about Ephron? He slowly starts to speak, making sure his tribesfolk don't eavesdrop. His soul is clouded. He thinks we have no right to waste what the dead have sacrificed for our sake, and that we disrespect them by staying weak. But all of it is just a cloak that hides him. He cares not about respect, but about his guilt. He takes a bit of convincing before he explains what he means by that. Our father died from claws, our mother from a bad birth. We used to have 5 brothers and sisters, all of them dead now. Some maybe could have been saved, but not all. and surely not by being stronger. Yet Ephron keeps thinking he had every opportunity to fix the tragedies, and he's to blame for letting them down. Him and I both. He falls silent. But at least I put my shame to use. He reaches for his tools again. We already have everything that we need. A beautiful home, enough food, fewer beasts than ever. It's going to be a rough lifetime for us. He takes a swing, but our kids will be fine. Right, so there's nothing else you want to know about the Eastern Path. Sure. Ephron? Do you know any creatures that live on the High Island? How could I, friend? I haven't been there. He suddenly looks to the sky, raises his hand and starts to tap the top of the wolf's head. But the harpies? Aye, they're common on the coast and on open waters. I saw them from Gale Rock's beach. Rocks and sticks don't fly well when you're thrown upwards. A bow would be safer. Alright, good hunting. You sell the roast chicken. Who has the grappling hook? I've completely forgotten who has the grappling hook for me to buy. And 3 hours. So I can get back to Gale Rocks, which would be pretty useful for me right now. Okay, let's go back to Gale Rocks. I have no idea where I was meant to plant this seed thing. I want to talk to the boatmaker, though. What can you tell me about High Island? She speaks slowly, stepping between words as if they're poison ivy. Not much. It's a deadly place, and we are forbidden to travel there, we are. All them old deals between the tribes and villages. Who could understand them? It ain't like the fish there are worth the effort. I have reasons to believe you know what happened to Asterion. You tell her what you've learned and her hands slow, then finally stop. You have some wrong ideas. I don't know where he is now, or if he's alive or dead. Just that he needed a small boat. I sold it to him. He took it to the beach and that's all I've seen of him. Well, thanks for telling me this, because I was about to head into the centre of this fucking peninsula and die. But he's not even on this pissing island. You're saying that you don't know where he set off? She pauses and scowls at you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need you to make me a boat that will reach High Island. She freezes. The High Island! Are you serious? After you confirm your words, she shakes her head slightly. Looking for ways to die. I ain't making you a boat. Her tone mocks the very thought. It would take us seasons of work, it would. If not a year or more. Tell you what, I fixed one old piece of driftwood some time back. It stays afloat, merely takes a lot of muscle to push forwards, for it has only the paddles. It's now wasting itself under the rains. What's your price? She runs her eyes over you. Well, I could speak with a few neighbours of mine, but judging by what I know about you, she crosses her arms, 48 fucking dragon bones will be fair. You're crazy. I'll think about it. Actually crazy. Can I not sell her the Navica thing? Surely she'd want the boat making, tablet. Actually crazy. Just pure unadulterated insanity. Anyway, we're gonna have to sleep here. Fuck, you can rent me for labour. Right, the days are getting shorter. Sure. You wake up surrounded by darkness. The keeper is sitting outside next to the open door. The fishers are getting ready, they are. Go ask someone when you can load the wagon, she says slowly, as if you're meant to repeat those exact words. Okay, we've seen this before, so we can help the fishermen get on their wagons. Take me to the pier. Any cursed earth here? Okay, that was highly ambitious. I'll ask about High Island later. Okay, I'm gonna head to the Wanderer. And then the only other place I can think of going is all the way back to the Elder's Cave, which hurts me to my core. Then the only other thing I can think of is I've not actually discovered it yet, and I got like a really awkward prompt. Okay. So no. Let me go to the Elder's Cave. You are Thyrus' teacher, am I right? With a loud sigh, he looks away. He's still around. Glad to hear that. His voice carries pain, but as he carries on, you catch a hint of shame. He carries many good tales of our shared time, I expect. He claimed your tribe was forced him to follow pagan teachings, but at least you were a good teacher. His shoulders drop. Aye, I was near there to protect him, and my neighbours treated him poorly. One night he just left, all by himself, yet reached his home, despite the threats of the bogs. His Numa carries great potential, though from what I've heard his soul is still immature. His eyes look even brighter than usual, but his voice grows stronger. If you plan to see him again, tell him I'm sorry. Not just for my daughter, or for that violent day. I'm sorry I failed him. How about High Island? Do you know anything about it? His eyes widen. Come again? You move your lips slowly as you repeat your question, and his look grows suspicious. Why would you head for that forsaken island? You explain briefly what you've learned about Asterion. The elder listens patiently, but then straightens up and raises his voice. Even his accent gets thicker, as if he's repeating an old sermon. The feet of the living have never thing to find in those ancient woods, and their ruins. 'Tis but a graveyard of a tribe long driven out, and their memories deserve to be either forgotten or shared by their descendants. He remains in the same position for another few breaths, then lowers his shoulders and scowls at you. City spies ought to forget it, ever more than most. Alright, holy moly, so you're not that thrilled. Okay, I know it's a bit of a weird place, but I'm going to end this episode here, I think. I don't know where the hell I meant to put this seed. You can see a sapling, I just don't know. When planted in soil storing large amounts of Numa, I thought maybe it was in... I thought it was in multiple places. I thought maybe it was in the Beholder Tree. I thought maybe it was around White Marshes. It could have been the old tunnel, I guess, but I don't think it was the old tunnel either. I just don't know. I might have got just a really awkward bit of text. Maybe it was like out of sequence very slightly and I've just focused on it. Maybe it's at the Steep House even. Actually, maybe it is at the Steep House. Hang on a minute. Before I end, let me go to the Steep House. The village remains dead. You hear the river in the east separated by a lush meadow filled with crickets and rodents. Was it a pasture? The barren field in the southeast. I used the weird sapling to sense if there's Numa buried in this place. You remove the linen sack and shake off the soil from the roots, then dig a hole and plant the sapling in the middle of the field. Just to be sure you don't water it, all you can do now is wait, so you don't brush Shadowmane for a bit. So you do brush Shadowmane for a bit, and make sure the saddle doesn't bother it. When you return, the plant is dark from sickness, dried up, withered. The field must have been corrupted, though seeing how there are already some plants growing from it, the spell is fading away. The curse is most likely as old as the last harvest. Put the cursed soil in a jar, it's a valuable ingredient. Holy shit, I found the cursed earth. You look for a proper clean container, then crouch down and fill it with some of the soil, removing any rocks and remains of the plants. During these few minutes, you only find one worm. What about the pastures in the southeast? Okay, so this is exactly the same as it was before. Alright. I'm done with this place. No, I don't go to the main square. Take me to the northwest part. No, not inside. The colourful grass covers the entire fenced pasture. The large stone placed in the middle suggests it could be a playground for ibexes or maybe just an old garden. You see a couple of small sheds, a latrine, a single building to the south completely burnt down. All of these places were cleaned out by scavengers. Shadowmane doesn't want to approach the large ruins in the north. The terrible stench of the feces and the rotting food scares you off as well. The paths are covered with goblin footprints. It's daytime, so the pack should be asleep, but if the beasts were active, they would try to scare you off, or to hunt down your mount. This is their territory, and once they wake up, you will face a furious enemy. Let's go somewhere else quietly. Let me leave. You can't get here before nightfall. Have I fucked up? Holy shit, I fucked up. I fucked up unbelievably. I need to seek shelter. Yeah. Fine, take a quarter of a heart off me. I didn't realize it was so late in the day still. The lights are promising. The lights are promising a refuge. The guards have bows and spears in their hands and ask if there are any monsters behind you. They tell you to wait, observing the area, then open the gate carefully, only to close it right after you ride inside. Bored with life, Roadwarden? One of them grumbles. And you notice it's already dark. I get off my horse, apologise to them, and enter the inn. Alright, this is where we'll end this episode. Sorry this is a bit of a long one, but I just kind of got caught in the quest for a while. So we have a big overarching quest now. Our quest is to get to this island, and I think I want to because I want vast amounts of money. I do need to head back, and I guess I'll do this next time, to Eudocia to tell that I've put all the bronze rods up, and I just want to see if she's going to destroy the world. Because that'd be a pretty funny way to end the series as well. If she just, marches a golem army across the peninsula and destroys everything. But I trust her, I'm sure she won't do that. I may even be able to ask for assistance getting to the island, or maybe even ask for it to clear that tunnel, because that's the other thing we need to do. I need to get strong, I need to get buff in some way. I think the other thing I might do when I go back round as well, is I might drop my healing potion off at the Beholder, and just try and get this seed. Because if I can get the seed, maybe I just buy another stone. Because I think I've got enough coins, right? If I can buy another stone, sacrifice it to the seed, and I'm going to use the game's rule of 3 to say that we'll get the Beholder seed. Then I can get into Old Pagos, and if I get into Old Pagos, we'll get more, quest lines. Anyway, that'll do it for this part. If you enjoyed it, why not leave a like, comment, subscribe, everything helps me out. And I'll see you on the next part. Goodbye.